I can't do it.
That's the worst.
Oh my God. It's my worst
I-
nightmare come true.
Yeah, at one point I was doing another podcast about professional cornhole. I don't know if you know what that is, being in Canada and all, but yeah, they got cornhole in Canada, right?
What is that?
Cornhole. It's a game where you throw a little bag, like a bean bag, into a board with a hole in the end of it.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
know the game. I just never knew what it was called.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
I was interviewing one of the world champion in the cornhole a year ago, I think, and we got 20 minutes into the interview, and I realized, oh snap, I didn't hit record. So I was like, oh no, this sucks.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, literally that's like my worst nightmare come true.
Yeah.
I think it happens to everybody though. It's one of those things that once it's happened, okay, it's happened, it's done. I can put that behind me now. Like a rite of passage, right?
Yeah, I mean, once you start a podcast, you're going to make mistakes, and it's going to suck sometimes. Sometimes it's going to be great, and like me, I'm my own worst critic with my podcasts.
Oh,
I don't listen to them.
So true.
Well, I do when I edit them, but like I don't sit in my car on the way to work and throw in, "Hey, let me take care of yourself today and see what I sound like." No, I don't do that. I can't do it.
I do scan every episode to make sure, but I don't edit actually a whole lot.
Yeah,
I
don't edit that much either. I keep all content in, unless somebody says something that they don't really want to put out. I'll go back in and see if I can find it. But for the most part, I don't really edit.
Yeah.
I used to be real self-conscious about when I say
I say all the time. It's every second word.
So I used to go back and take out, and my editing time went to about an hour for each episode. So I was like, man, screw that. If I say they just have to listen to it.
It's just too much work. And I cuss all the time. So it's like, okay, well, what am I gonna I can't. So I'm just like, I marked my podcast explicit, and everyone's like, what do you talk about in your podcast? I'm like, nothing. I need to throw an F-bomb every now and then and not have to worry about it. Right?
And you can cuss on this show too. I mean,
okay,
that's the whole point of unedited and real conversation. That's what I like about this show.
Awesome.
Speaking of conversation, let's just get right into it.
Let's get into it. Let's do it.
What's up, Miss Maria?
Hi.
We got oh my goodness.
Just Maria at the Femcast.
Maria at the Femcast?
Or from the Femcast, yeah.
From the Femcast?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about this Femcast. What's the Femcast? I guess it's about women, huh?
It's about issues that we as women tend to experience. It's a lot about love and relationships and breaking toxic patterns, and women who struggle with people pleasing and perfectionism, a lot of self-doubt. I mean, this is really my journey kind of out there, and what I've taken from it, what I've learned from it, and how I've evolved through it. So it's my passion project. It has been for years.
How long have you been doing it?
I can't remember when I initially started, because I started and then I removed a whole bunch of episodes, and then I started again a couple of years ago in 2021, I believe. But I started way before that. I want to say it was 2019 or 2018 when I started podcasting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been doing it longer than I have then.
I have, but very inconsistent. So I've gotten really consistent lately, but up until this point, it's been kind of, I show up and then I disappear. I show up and then I disappear.
I was like real consistent for about a year. I was doing 2-3 episodes a week, and then I was like producing another podcast for somebody else. But then I just got burned out, and I started back in September. I took like a July to September break. So now I'm back and hopefully revamped and ready to go. Maria Pallas. I say your last name right?
Yes, you did. Maria Pallas.
Like a giant palace. Okay. So Maria Pallas with the Film Podcast is joining us on Take Care of Yourself. And I just want to say thank you for being up here. You should have been a couple of days before, but me and my schedule keeping skills need a little bit of work. So
you're forgiven. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to
yeah.
be here.
Yeah,
Thank
awesome.
you.
Tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been on quite the journey. I've probably reinvented my life and my story 1,000 times. I come from a very corporate background, and was married for a period of time, and probably about 2011, 2012, I kind of blew up my life. Ended the
Wow.
career, ended the relationship, went traveling through Southeast Asia for 6 months. Kind of like I call it my own little eat, pray, love experience. And just really took a really good hard look at who I was and the life I'd created, and if it was really aligned for me, and just came to so many realizations at how far out of alignment I actually was.
Let me ask you, why Southeast Asia?
I don't know, actually. I always had a fascination with Bali. I wanted to go there for years. And it was funny because when I remember getting off the plane and just stepping on the ground when I got there, and just the smell of the air, and something about it literally brought tears to my eyes, and I don't know what it was. I can't explain it.
Air pollution?
Maybe. There's a lot of pollution in Kuta. Let me just tell you. But yeah, no, it was just such a magical and transformative experience. Honestly, I love the food. I love the people. I love the beaches. It was just really amazing.
So you just uprooted yourself, just stopped doing everything you were doing, and said, fuck it, I'm moving.
I broke up with life.
Broke up with life and cheated on it with Southeast Asia.
I did.
There you go.
I did. And yeah, and I don't think it was really one of those major turning points for me. Like, there's my life before I went on that trip, and there's my life after, and the two are very different. So, having gone through that, coming back and, really wanting to, number one, realize my experience and learn from it. And number two, suddenly getting the strong urge to want to help people with that story and with that experience. So I started a bit of a coaching practice that I've been kind of doing off on the side for quite some time, started the podcast, and just really trying to get my message and my story and my experience and what I've learned out there. Because I do realize that there's a lot of men and women, but specifically women, because like I said, some of the challenges that I experience are not necessarily privy to women, but most women will struggle with, and are having conversations about. So those are the kind of the things that I tend to focus on, and that's where I know I could kind of lend some support, because I know from personal experience, how sometimes, when you're trying to just speak up for yourself and stand up for yourself and be your own person, there is a challenge to being a woman that I don't know that the other side experiences. I really don't. I can't say, I'm not saying that they don't, but I know that, there's a lot of ways that we're kind of raised to just, be people pleasers and do the right thing and be nice and be polite and grow up, get married, have a family, have kids. And these are the kind of the criteria for your happiness. Right. So again, I can't say that it's not given to, it's not passed down to men as well, but I know from, in working with other women and speaking with other women, it is something that a lot of us are really kind of, spinning our wheels, trying to change the conversation and change the narrative around.
Yeah. So when your trip to Southeast Asia, what about that trip clicked something inside you and was like, hey, this is what I want to do, and this is why I want to do it? Was there one in particular?
My demons.
Saw your demons.
I saw my demons. I saw the parts of me that, just were so scared and insecure, and the parts of me that would panic if I wasn't in a relationship, or if wasn't somebody around. The feeling of not being safe, the feeling of not being protected, the feeling of not, like, I literally, all my worst fears kind of came into a head almost as soon as I arrived. And moving through that experience, there was this next level of freedom where, and it took a few years for all of this to really self-actualize, to be quite honest. It didn't self-actualize right away, but it was this really great feeling of, I don't need to be in a relationship. and I know that I'm okay and I am empowered and I can live a happy and fulfilling life, I would love a relationship, but I don't need it. And I think when you come from relationships from that perspective, you make better choices. You're not afraid to set your boundaries. You're not afraid to speak up for yourself. You're not afraid to be who you are and be really vulnerable and honest about what you think and feel. Sure, we all have work to do. We're not perfect. You know, every one of us is a bit of a hot mess, and that's fine. But there's a motivation to settle for a lot less than you actually deserve when you feel like you need someone. Right? When you don't feel like you need someone, you can make better choices and choose the one that's actually, you know, going to not complete you in any way or support you but actually complement you and who you are and the kind of life that you live. And I think that's really important. I think that's key.
Yeah, I think needing someone is kind of tricky because if you're an independent person, you've been on your own for a long time, you don't really need someone. You know, you can survive on your own. But I think people do need someone for like emotional support, you know, just to have, I don't know, physical needs, emotional needs. But as far as being dependent on someone,
it's a different kind of need. It's I can't live without having someone next to me at all times versus it's nice having someone around, but I know I'll be okay. Like if it takes some time to find that person, you know, and you can take your time doing that. And I think that, you know, it's actually transformed all my relationships, not just my romantic relationships, but even relationships with coworkers, with friends, with family. You know, all my relationships have kind of gone through this bit of metamorphosis because, you know, all the toxicity that we experience in a lot of our relationships and all the imbalances start with this need to have people's with us, need to have people's approval, need to have certainty, need to have guarantees, need to have attachment. That's where a lot of the toxicity and the imbalances come from. And so when you take that out of any relationship, even your relationship with your finances, for crying out loud, could probably improve, right? When you lose that sense of finding security in something outside of yourself, right? And you can actually come home to yourself and find that security within you. All the relationships in your life will benefit from that work. And that, I think, is really the hard work.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that's easy at all. I
no.
mean, if it was,
took me
everybody.
10 years. It took me 10 years. I'm still doing the work.
Hey,
I don't know if it ever stops.
It's like working out, man. You know, you got to keep doing it. Be consistent.
Once a gym rat, always a gym rat.
That's right. Yeah. So, we spoke. I don't know, when was it? Last week. Did like a little pre-interview for this thing. So you answered an ad I put out about dating and relationships. And, you know, I run a singles group here in North Carolina. And by the way, you're in Canada, right? You're in Toronto.
I am.
Okay. How's the dating in Toronto? Let me ask you that.
It's okay. I mean, you know what? I'm actually north of Toronto. It's a little bit better up here. I find big cities can be a bit of a challenge sometimes.
But in big cities, you have like several options.
That's true. But I think so. Here's my take on it. Right. In the city, because I lived in Toronto for many years. In the city, yes, you have a plethora to choose from. However, the odds of running into the same person again and again and again, slim to none. Unless you're like working in an environment where you're meeting people, or going to a gym where you're meeting people, or taking a class, right? But just like on the off chance. But here, because it's I'm in a smaller town just north of Toronto, but still pretty happening. I do see the same people at the coffee shop all the time. You know, I do see the same people at the bakery every time I go in. Like you can create and cultivate more intimate relationships, I find, when it's not so heavily populated. That's just my take. I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, I come from not a super large city, you know, Raleigh, North Carolina, the capital of North Carolina.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 million people in what we call the Triangle area.
That's pretty big.
And I see this, like, there's several Facebook single groups here I don't know, maybe 6, and it's all full of the same people. The
Yeah.
same people, maybe with a few outliers, and everybody knows everybody. If you've seen an attractive female, you know at least 3 people that's dated that girl, or then if you've dated
The pond
somebody,
is so
then
small.
it is. I hate it. I hate it because chances of you dating someone here that knows someone that you used to date or
Yeah.
some guys down the road, it's terrible. So
Oh, no.
yes, I really hate the dating game here. I think when I went to New York City
Yeah.
a couple of years ago, and
Love
this
New York
was,
City.
yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a
Oh, I
fan.
love New York City.
Yeah. But the Tinder game was on point back then. I had a hotel room in Times Square, and I just sat in my room on Tinder, and I was just matching after match after match. It was like,
yeah, it makes swiping pretty easy when you're in a big city like that.
Oh yeah, women have to be like 8 women to 1 guy there. It's, I don't know, crazy. But yeah. So are you currently dating anybody?
I am currently dating. We're testing the waters. Yes.
Oh, look at you go. There you go. Yeah. So how
we got
did
some
you
logistics to figure out, but yeah.
Oh, long distance?
Yeah, but he's been just amazing. And I've actually been through a very difficult period in the last few weeks, and my dad's been in the hospital. He's fine now, but it's been a rough go, and he's just been like, he's just been like a solid to have around.
Oh, well,
for sure.
Well, I'm sorry about your dad, but I'm glad you have support there.
Yeah.
So what's the distance looking like? How far? How far apart?
We're pretty far. We'll leave it at that for now. But,
well, I can share a little story with you.
Yeah.
So I had to go to Louisiana to work, and while I was there, I met someone, and we became really close, and we called ourselves boyfriend and girlfriend. I ended up doing a total of 90 days there. 45 days. Then I took a 45-day break, and then I went back for another 45. The whole time I dated her. She even came here during that break to visit. But, it's a 13-hour drive, and we just decided we couldn't do it,
Yeah.
So, for long distance for me, I don't think it'll work because I'm the type of person that I can't just go with seeing you once or twice a month, and phone calls and FaceTime just doesn't do it for me. I was born without that gene. So
I mean, it definitely has a downside to it, obviously, but I mean, I think, and it's funny, it's not my first long distance. I tend to always be in long distance relationships somehow. I don't know. My friends have a joke about it, but we'll leave that there. But
no, I need to hear this joke now.
Oh, no. This is very personal. Let's just say my taste in partners has been quite eccentric in the last few years. Let's just leave it at that.
I want to know how you're meeting these people that are at long distance.
Usually like either when they're traveling here or if I'm traveling there. But yeah.
So
that's
online
how it works.
Swiping.
No, just like by chance. I think one was online, I think.
Oh, okay.
I did the online he was the only one I actually met online, and then I tried to go online again, and then I just broke up with online completely. Me and my friend are about to podcast about online dating, actually.
Oh my God, what a travesty online dating is. I think every episode I record has a little tidbit on online dating.
I mean, I'm sure there's a high vibe way to do it. I'm sure there is. There's got to be. There's a high vibe way to do everything. I just have a mindset about it, and it's going to take a lot of work to change it.
My best luck as far as like getting matches and conversations is with this app called Luxy. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one.
No, I haven't.
But everybody I match with is out of state, in another country. And they're all like drop dead gorgeous women. It kind of makes me wonder if they're just bots or trying to spam. But no, I've had like some legit,
Are you real?
Yeah, I'm like I am like having real conversations with these ladies, and then I'll scroll and look and see where they're from, and then it's like a language I've never even seen before, and I'm like, oh god.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's
You do have to
crazy.
be careful. You do have to be. There's a lot of fishy activity happening in the dating world, online world in general.
Yeah.
But man, like, I mean, I've made so many attempts to open up an online profile in the last few years, and usually within like days, I'm shutting it down. Like, I think the last time I was active for like maybe an hour before I was like, that's it, I can't do this.
Let me
So,
ask you something. Like, what is something you find not attractive that men think is attractive?
oh, there's two extreme sides to that story, or side to, well, maybe not. I think I definitely know that what I don't find attractive is arrogance. Men who come off as like really arrogant, overly self-confident, like to the point where it's, it's just not cool, right? I think everyone should have an air of confidence to them, and I think everyone should feel good about who they are and how they show up and what they bring to the table. And I think that's a standard. If you're a man or a woman, I think everyone should have that for themselves. But when there's this like, and you can tell by the way they kind of carry themselves, where they think they're better than you. I have no time, like, just zero.
No time for that.
Zero. I won't even go there. And then just the very, like, especially online, I find just the very, like, the how do I put this? The way they're just so blunt about what they're like, either what they're looking for, like if they're just looking for like a friend with benefits or a hookup or whatever. And they're just so blatant about it, and completely like oblivious as to like what you've got on your profile. Like, you have on your profile that you're looking for a relationship. This guy's like, paying you, looking for a hookup, and it's like, did you even read my profile? Like,
well, the answer to that already. Men don't read profiles.
But that's annoying. Like, I mean, if you're looking for a relationship, read the profile. Read the profile.
Men are visual creatures. Okay.
I know.
It's in our DNA. It can't be changed. And we look.
That's not true, because I do know men who have read the profiles. And I think it says a lot about the person, because those are the same men who would ask me questions on a date, who would listen to what responses I had, and who would reply.
I bet you if we took a poll right now for men, it would be a low percentage that actually.
And that's why they're struggling to find dates.
You know what? Hold on. I bet there's probably a poll already.
Real dates, not hookups, like real relationships.
Let's see if there is percentage.
Let's do some polls. Let's do it.
Of men that read dating profiles.
That's going to be such a low number.
How much of your online dating profile do people actually read? Do guys read dating profiles? Let's see. The results show that men spend 65% more time looking at photos than women. Women, on the other hand, spend 50% more time than men actually reading the profiles. I think that's higher than that. I think so. 70%. I think 70% of women do that. Secret.com, men don't read online dating profiles. They just look at the pictures. Women do the reading. I mean, here's what men read.
But okay, but that's because we do it that way doesn't mean it's the right way, right?
But who makes that way the right or the wrong way? Who determines that?
Well, I'm just saying the difference between being in a one-sided, emotionally unavailable relationship to actually being in a relationship with somebody who's in partnership with you. Yeah, they'll read your profile, right?
No, that's true. Well, look,
I'm not read your profile.
I think if men matched as much as women do, we would probably read the profiles. But I look at it like this. Okay, she's attractive. Physically, she is the woman I want. Okay, right swipe. Oh my God, she matched with me. let's check out her profile. Now I'll start to read it, and then I'll go in
and that's cool.
and see,
and that's
oh
cool.
God, oh, she's a vegan. I don't know about this. I don't know if I can handle that.
That's cool.
Oh,
Like,
she's a
those are
smoker.
important
Oh,
things, right?
yeah.
If you're
So,
looking for a if you're looking for a solid relationship, right? If you're
Mhm.
looking to build something with someone, reading the
Yeah.
profile is mandatory, because you want to see if you're a carnivore, you don't want to be in a long-term committed relationship with a vegan.
Yeah.
If you want to have 3 children, you don't want to be in a relationship with someone who doesn't want kids. Right? These are the things that you need to know before you get into a serious committed relationship with somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. But yeah, I did date a vegan. That was,
How hard was that?
I tried it for a month, and I almost lost my mind that last week. I got so weak. Like, I was tired of eating just vegetables and fake meat, and
Yeah.
I couldn't work out. I was just weak,
Yeah.
tired.
It takes a toll on when you're used to eating like protein from animal source. It is very hard. It's very hard to adjust. I tried to do it several times, only because just for humanitarian reasons, not for anything else. I'm an animal lover. But I can't. Like, I literally cannot survive on a vegan diet. Like you, I could not function.
I need my meat, man. I need my protein.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you're saying about the reading the profile. But I guess my point is, if I'm not going to put in that effort as far as digging the details out and learning about this person, or just reading their profile until I match them. Because I'm not gonna.
And that, you know what, that is totally respectable, right? Because you don't want to waste your time reading a bunch of profiles if you don't even know if you've matched, right?
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
just a waste of time.
Yeah, that's
right?
what I do.
And I mean, like, hey, if you're just looking for a hookup, probably you don't need to read the profile. It really depends what you're looking for. And I think that needs to drive your behavior when you're out doing these things, right? I mean, yeah, basically the longer you intend to spend in the relationship, the longer you should spend on the profile, and really understanding, is this person for me? If you're not planning to spend a whole lot of time with them, then you don't need to spend a whole lot of time on the profile, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also think that women need to let men know they're interested.
Yes.
As opposed to like men always being the
women are so bad for this. It's so and you know what? It just comes from like a lot. Even me, like, I even still struggle with this, but you know, if there's any women listening right now, like, it really doesn't take much. Like, I honestly, women have this bad habit of being afraid to let on that we're interested in a man first, because our worst fear is rejection, but men's worst fear is rejection too. So it goes both ways, right? And I think we need to be sensitive to that. And so, you know, if I have any advice to my ladies out there who are a little bit like timid about, you know, putting themselves out there and you know, meeting people, the amount of pressure and fear that some eye contact and a smile will take out of the situation is tremendous. Like, if you can't even say anything or can't even approach somebody, like, baby steps, right? Start with eye contact and a smile. That right there it'll disarm a lot of the fear and the anxiety that a man might feel before he approaches her. And kind of make him feel a little bit more at ease, and kind of make him feel like, okay, maybe it's safe to kind of go up and say, hey, right? But too many times, like, we'll make eye contact with a guy and we'll be out with our friends and we make eye contact, with glance across the room. Oh my God. We turn, as soon as you make eye contact, they whip their heads around so that you don't hold that eye contact. Don't do that. Hold it for a few seconds, crack a bit of a smile, and watch what happens. Like, honestly, sometimes that's the only encouragement men need. And, you know, once you get past that hurdle, it's easy just to go up and just start a conversation. Like, you don't need to offer to buy them a drink, but just, you know, I don't know, talk about anything that's going on in your world, in your space, and in the environment that you're in that moment. Like, there's so many ways to just start a casual conversation, without actually making it a, you know, and I'm using air quotes, a pickup, right?
So roles reversed.
Yeah.
I see you out, and I look at you, and we stare and smile.
Yeah.
How do you feel when a guy does that to you?
I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, does that matter what the guy looks like?
Well, if I'm
Like,
smiling back, then I'm probably interested, right?
well, I guess, yeah. So what do you do? Let's just say, what if you do if somebody you're not interested does that to you?
I mean, there's a way to smile back to show that you're interested, and there's a way to smile back just to kind of be polite and acknowledge, I guess. If I'm interested, then I'll probably hold the eye contact and give like a nice little, smirk.
Okay.
Otherwise it's kind of a polite and maybe walk away if I'm not too interested. But you know what? Hey, you can't judge a book by its cover either, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to try this at the gym because this might be good
Be careful
at the gym.
Be careful at the gym.
Why? I need to know. What
Well, I
happens
mean,
at the
it
gym?
depends. Like sometimes it's a different dynamic at the gym because women aren't, well, I don't know about all women, some women maybe. Usually women are there. There's a difference between the mindset at like, let's say like a bar or a restaurant or some sort of a social event versus a gym mindset. They're two very different mindsets. At the gym, I'm working on my body, I'm working on my health, I'm working on my fitness. If I see you smiling at me, it's making me uncomfortable. I feel like I don't want to work out. Depending.
Yeah,
Unless,
depending.
I mean, if it's a guy I'm interested in, then I would probably be okay with it. But if it's someone that I'm not, it might make me a little bit uncomfortable, especially when we're wearing like our little gym outfits and stuff. It's like, okay, I'm doing my yoga stretches. Please go to the other side of the room. We don't need to be making eye contact right now.
But look, come on, Maria. Some of these girls be wearing some stuff in there and doing some of these stretches in front of guys. And, what are you supposed to do as a man that is physical? We are physical.
Hey,
visual.
Women
creatures.
and men both deserve to go to the gym and work out and wear their workout clothes and do so in peace.
So
and
I have
kumbaya.
I have a pair of glasses that are mirrored. So they're kind of like, people think I'm wearing sunglasses, but they're not. But you can't see my eyes. So
yeah.
It's a good way to hide.
God, you're that guy.
No.
No, you're that guy.
Oh man, I'm a better version of that guy. Yeah.
You're an up-leveled version of that guy.
I'm not the generic version. I'm the original. The
OG.
The OG. Yes. So you mentioned something about some easy tricks of dating.
I mean, I think, I mean, again, going back to what we were just talking about, I think.
Oh, things not easy tricks, like things not to talk about, I guess, while you're on a date with someone.
I guess it depends on which date. If we're talking about the first date, please don't talk about your exes.
Yeah.
Who are we talking to? Are we talking to men or are we talking to women? Because the two will do very different things.
Let's just say you're a woman. I want to hear your perspective. If you're tall, you're across from a guy, and what you don't want to hear come out of his mouth.
I don't want him to talk about himself the whole night.
Okay.
I want him to ask me questions about me, my life, what I do. And I want to ask him questions as well. And I want to be able to have an idea of who I'm sitting across from, right? But I also want to know that he's listening to me and what I'm saying and kind of interested in what I'm saying and asking questions and follow-up questions. And that's what I look for. I never want to be either in text or on a call or sitting across the table sharing a glass of wine with someone who I feel like I'm just like what's it called? Fishing the conversation out of them. And managing, gotcha. I want it needs to flow. Like both people need to be participating in that conversation.
Yeah.
And I do find that a lot. I find that especially like when I dabbled in online dating, a lot of the times I felt like, why am I asking all these questions? Like, this is getting exhausting. Like, if they can't engage in a conversation, then I have nothing to say to them. I find, a lot of the times I'm having to pull the conversation out, and that is just exhausting. So by all means, please have a conversation with the lady. Compliments are always nice. There's no lady in the world that doesn't love a compliment. And just having interest in, what she's saying and asking follow-up questions and
Mhm.
and showing compassion. I think those are really important things that if those aren't there fundamentally, you're probably not going to see me on a date too.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing too. I'm across
Yeah.
from a woman. I don't want to hear about exes,
No
and
exes.
I don't want to hear
What diet she's on. Even though she might be, that's fine. I'm not judging her, but you don't need to bring that to the first
if
date.
I ask her about like her food or stuff and she brings something up like that, that's fine. But I consider myself like a great conversationalist. I can meet
Yeah.
somebody and I can talk,
Yeah.
and I can start a conversation. I can finish a conversation.
Yeah.
I can mediate a conversation, but I don't want to be the one talking all the time.
Yeah,
If
no,
I'm
I don't
sitting
like that.
there looking at you and just trying to keep coming up with subjects to talk about,
Yeah.
it ain't going to work out.
No.
If I'm on a date with you, I need to leave with my face hurting from laughing so much.
Yeah.
I
That's when
need,
you know it's good, when the face hurts, right?
when the face hurts because you laugh so much, it's a wrap. We're going to go out on a date number 2, and I don't want to hear you talk about yourself okay, for example, met this girl on Facebook last year.
Yeah.
She was a Facebook friend. I'm notorious. I'll see somebody in my people you may know list, and I'll see how many mutual friends we have, and I'll friend them. So I've met some cool people like that,
Yeah.
some friends, and I've actually been on a couple of dates with women like that. I went out with this one girl, and we sit down. She was actually 15 minutes late, but whatever. I didn't complain. I sat there and waited. She shows up, and she just started talking about her ex in Northern Virginia and her kid. And this just went on for 20 minutes nonstop. And the whole time I'm sitting there like, oh, wow, like pretending like I'm interested in this.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
No, that's just as exhausting.
Yeah. But I put up with it, and acted like I was interested, and never saw her again.
Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's just as exhausting. Those are the two extremes. Either they're not talking or they're the only one talking and you can't get a word in.
Yeah, it's just
and it's usually about themselves. So it's like pass.
How do you feel about dating people with kids?
I'm fine with it, but because I'm okay with having kids, right? I think if people aren't okay with having kids, then it doesn't matter if it's theirs or someone else's, then they're not going to be okay with it.
Do you have kids?
I don't.
Oh, well, there you go. I don't have kids. Both of my kids are grown. They're adults.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I could be I know I could not be the father to a young teenager again. Nope. Can't do it.
Not doing that again.
Do it. Nope. But
been there, don't want to go back.
Yeah, well, I had a recent experience with one, and I was like, you know what? I couldn't do it. These kids these days are they're different. They're so much different. Yeah. I think I could raise a baby again. Yeah. But I mean, I tend to date.
But then what do you do when they turn 14? Do you just like, okay, here you go?
Well, when does the average relationship? I think the average relationship lasts 7 years. So, around that 7 year.
Don't plan for that.
I talk a lot of shit, but you know what?
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's all good.
I get to that point, and who knows? It's different. It's different if he was or she was my 14-year-old.
Yeah.
But if I'm jumping into a relationship with someone that already has a 14, 15-year-old that hasn't had a real dad in a decade, then it's tough. It's tough, it's got to be tough for a single mom to jump into a relationship with a guy that has.
It's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
It's a lot to think about who you let your kids meet. And, it's a whole other, if dating was tricky without kids, like that has a whole other layer of complexity, right?
This is why dating is so hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
You touched on something also about primal instincts of dating.
I did.
I believe you did in our conversation we had
Refresh
last
my
week.
memory.
I'm trying to refresh mine here. I wrote some notes of things. So I don't know.
Man, what was
I
I
guess
saying?
primal instincts of dating. When you discuss
Dating.
primal, you're talking like way back.
Yeah.
Primal sounds more like
Is that a Saturday night or no? Primal instincts.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I didn't. No, that's definitely notes I took when we were on the phone.
Huh.
But I don't know. We were just blabbing about stuff.
Sure.
But
Maybe I have an extra glass of wine that night. I don't know.
yeah, I usually have a Tito's while I do my podcast, but I did not tonight. Yeah. I'm doing the dry October thing. So
are you?
Yeah, it's my birthday month, so I might next week.
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you. 1 year closer to the grave is what they say, right?
Oh, don't look at it that way.
Well, one thing's for sure, we're going up, not down.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was some fun thing that we had discussed too, because we got to talking about dating and how bad it is in certain areas. So I don't know if you looked it up about, and you're in Canada, so I don't know what states in Canada have the worst dating, but I got it locked down in the United States. If you're ready to hear this stuff. Now, did you cheat? Did you look?
I did not.
Okay, so
I did not look.
What do you think is the worst state to date in the United States?
I don't know.
And once you hear it, you're going to be like, okay, yeah, definitely.
I've only been to New York, so I don't even know if I could say. I'd be guessing. I don't. Arkansas. I don't know.
Arkansas is number 49. You were so close. You were so close. But the worst state to date in is West Virginia.
West Virginia.
West Virginia is number 50 out of all the states in the United States. Worst.
Oh man.
Well, it's because you're dating inside your family. So I guess
pickings are slim in West Virginia.
Pickings are slim pickings. Slim pickings. Because all they do is pick
song,
banjos.
West Virginia. What's that song? Take Me Home, Country Road. I love that song.
Well, evidently, just the song
Not
is the
dating.
only thing being loved there. Well, that's how the population survives in West Virginia. It's all inbreeding. Oh, wow. And send your hate mail to Maria
I thought that
Pallas.
was just a movie thing.
No, I think it's kind of true. I think it's just up in the hills. There's a lot of like families that live up in the mountains and stuff. You can, oh my God, what's that family's name? I think it's in West Virginia too, but like a reporter went there and the man, he can only talk like a dog. So he barks like a dog.
Oh my gosh. No, I did not hear about this.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So we are going to go here. Let's see.
Wow, he talks like a dog. Great.
See if I think I found it. Inbred family. All right, hold on. Now can you hear this?
No.
Okay, so all right, so let me figure out how to do this. I think I can share my screen with you.
We'll learn something new every day. I don't know if I want to learn this though.
All right, let's see. All right, can you see that?
Something's coming.
Okay.
There we go. Okay.
All right, now hopefully you can hear it. Can you hear it?
No, I can't.
Oh no, why can't you hear this? This is gold. Oh, yeah.
Why your sound's on? I should be able to hear it.
Yeah. Is there a way to share the sound? Advanced sharing options. Most only.
That is nuts.
Oh my gosh. I really wish you could hear this. There's gotta be a way you can hear the audio.
Usually you can when you share your screen. I don't know why in this case we can't.
Yeah. But I can definitely look at this. Look.
Oh, wow. Oh, you can tell he's barking though.
Yeah.
You didn't hear it, but you can tell.
Yeah. And
Wow,
look at he's a
wow. It's
where's your favorite
real.
memory, Ray?
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, there you go. So
That is scary.
Just to hear the audio, just type in on YouTube, West Virginia man barks. Like, no.
Oh my God.
There it is.
I don't know if I want to hear it, but yeah.
Like, that's the language he speaks. Isn't that something else?
That would explain why it's the hardest state to date in.
Yeah. So we should be fortunate that we were born how we are right now, because you could have been born in West Virginia.
West Virginia.
You could have been born there. Now, there are legit people, beautiful people from West Virginia.
I've actually always wanted to go to West Virginia.
My hairstylist is from West Virginia. She looks and talks nothing like that. She's a beautiful young woman. Okay. So yeah, there's a few, but that guy is up there in the mountains. But all right, so we got the worst. We've got West Virginia, Arkansas, North Dakota, Wyoming, Kentucky, Mississippi. Even Alaska has better dating than West Virginia. Wow. We've got our neighbor down south, South Carolina, Alabama, Montana, and Oklahoma rounds out the top 10 worst dating spots in USA. Now, what do you think number one is?
I mean, I would pick on the big city. So I would either pick Miami, Los Angeles, or New York.
Well, New York's number 2.
Okay.
Yeah, New York's number 2. Yeah. California is number 1.
Yeah, I figured.
Florida is number 3. Texas number 4. And here's a shocker: Pennsylvania. How is Pennsylvania number 5?
I don't know.
Like because of Pittsburgh in Philadelphia. I don't know, but
oh yeah, probably.
Yeah, big cities, I guess.
Probably.
Illinois is 6, and that's because of Chicago.
Chicago, yeah, that makes sense.
What the fuck is in New Jersey?
The Jersey Shore.
That number 7. Oh my God.
Did you not watch the Jersey Shore?
I did. What a train wreck that was.
It's such a train wreck.
Have you seen them now, like the original cast? They
did some kind of a reunion a couple years ago. Like, I can't remember. I didn't watch it, but I just saw the photos like all through social media.
They all look like plastic, except for what was his name? Paulie, the guy with the crazy hair.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. But so we got Massachusetts, that's probably because of Boston. Then we got Wisconsin. Maybe there's cold Dayton there. Green Bay. Wisconsin? They like it cold. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? A lot of Dayton at
isn't that where Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, the big city there is Green Bay, I think.
Okay.
Is there, I don't know. I'm not too familiar with Wisconsin. And Virginia. Wow. Virginia is number 10, which is a shocker. North Carolina is number 15, man. We suck. We should be at the bottom.
That's not too bad. Number 15 out of 50.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't see that. I don't see why it's so great to date there. I mean, yeah. I got some more notes and they're over there. If I can reach them. Hold on a second. So, how many dates do you consider you have to go on before you're officially dating the person?
I don't know if I know the answer to this because it varies.
It varies. What's the variance, you think?
It's not so much like the number of dates that you've been on. I think it's how you feel with them. Because
Yeah.
I've dated guys that I've dated for months and we were never like in a committed relationship, right? Because there was just never, there was always that kind of arm's length sort of experience. Like, it's complicated situationships, right?
Yeah.
Where you date for long periods of time and they drag on and on and on and on. And you think, oh, maybe he'll come around. They don't.
Well, if you're with somebody for like 4 months, and this was brought up on my last podcast too.
Yeah.
We were talking about situationships Like if you're with somebody for 4 months and you introduce that person as your boyfriend and he goes, I'm not your boyfriend. Isn't that kind of like a red flag or something?
Oh, that's a huge red flag.
Yeah.
That is a huge red flag.
After 4 months, you should have had the conversation at least after month 2.
That's beyond a red flag. A red flag is dating someone for 4 months and you still don't know that you're in a relationship, like before you even have to actually physically voice it, right? That's a huge red flag.
Which is crazy because I know people that get engaged, like they're changing a pair of socks.
I know.
It's ridiculous. I don't understand it. Then they put it on Facebook and then you see, relationship status. That person just broke up with somebody 2 weeks ago. Oh no, there's a picture of a ring on their finger. Oh, what's going on? And 2 weeks later, there's a post about this long saying how they've learned from their mistakes and they hate men and all this other stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, some people just go.
Well, and see this. So this proves my theory is when you've gone through a breakup, the last thing you should be doing is getting into another relationship. Last thing.
Yeah. Like, what do you think?
Wait.
Like, how long though? Is that what's the minimum time you think?
When you can look back on the previous relationship and not feel triggered by it.
Wow.
So it depends, right? If it was somebody who just, a little wounding, you probably won't take you too much to get over it. If it's somebody that you were invested in for years that, did some damage, it might take some time, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's not to say you need to be completely healed before you move into a relationship. I think a lot of healing happens when we're in relationship. I think some of the best, most powerful healing happens when we're in relationship, but there's a certain level of work that you really need to do on your own. Otherwise, you'll just keep creating that shit in your next relationship and the next one and the next one and the next one. It'll just keep snowballing. And every time you experience it, it'll be worse than the last. It's like, I call it, it's exactly the same effect as yo-yo dieting, right? You go on this next fad diet, right? You cut out all your carbs, you cut out all your dairy, you do all these things, you lose 40 pounds in 3 months. And as soon as you start eating normally again, you've now put on another 50. So you go the next fad diet. You lose 60 pounds, then you put on 70, then you lose 80, then you put on 90. Like it just keeps getting more and more. I'm exaggerating, but it just keeps getting more and more intense and having more and more impact every single time. And that's when I say it's time for a timeout, boo.
Yeah, it is.
It's time for
that's when you have to fix yourself and love yourself and start doing things to keep your mind off of all
otherwise you just bring that shit into the next one, right? And it multiplies. I don't know how, but it does. It always multiplies.
And don't write on Facebook.
No,
I've learned my lesson on that.
Do not,
because people see the things you write and then they judge you and they don't really know the whole story. Or I'm thinking it sounds like I'm talking from experience, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I will say this though, and this is one thing that I do experience, definitely like a huge difference between smaller towns to bigger cities is that, and I don't know if it's because we're more jaded when we're in a big city, but people in big cities are less, they take a lot more time to commit. Like you'll rarely ever see them break up with someone and then have an engagement ring 2 weeks later. It takes them a long time to make a commitment. And again, I don't know if that's because they've dated more, they have, maybe there's some trust issues. I don't know, but relationships take longer, I think, to progress when you're in a big, heavier populated area versus when you're in a less populated area. And that's just, I'm making a very general statement. There's no, there's not to say that there's no exception to any of these things.
Well, in like a big city like New York too, there's so many choices out there. So
you have choices. People have busy lives.
Yeah.
People have been like brokenhearted before and are really reluctant to have that happen again, right? They're very apprehensive. There's so many things. There's so many things that are like in the mix, right? They're very some of them are very career focused. Right. New York is a very expensive city. So some of them are really just focused on making a living and putting a roof over their heads. Right.
Yeah.
Toronto's the same. Like, it's just crazy what a 1-bedroom apartment goes for these days. It's nuts.
Oh, I can only imagine.
People are renting out their closets as about
How much would your closet go for right there?
this closet right here. I could probably rent out for like $1,000 just for the closet.
It's all the space I need. Yep. No, it is crazy. Like a lot of Northerners move to North Carolina just because the cost of living is cheaper here.
Yeah,
But
it's crazy.
what's happening is all these people are moving here, making the prices go up for everything. Yeah. Logistically, our highways are becoming so fucked. You know, yep. Every morning I get up and go to work. I travel 32 miles down to Raleigh, and the interstate is fucked. It's ridiculous.
Same here. I'm in a city just north of Toronto now. My family lives up here. When I moved from Toronto, and I moved after COVID, and I remember before COVID, property, apartments, everything up here were so inexpensive, right? And I had just gotten my apartment in the city, which I paid through the roof for. And this was pre-COVID. And then post-COVID, the prices in Toronto dropped for a little bit, and then the prices up here jumped up because everybody was moving out of the city and moving into the suburbs because they didn't want to be in a congested city anymore, right?
Yeah,
and they're like, well, I'm working from home now, so I can live anywhere, right? Yeah. So then people moved up here, and then as you know, we kind of came out of COVID and things started to normalize again, the prices in Toronto shot up again. These prices here never went back down. So now everything is high. Everything is unaffordable. The highways are a joke. Like it's rush hour every day, all day.
Wow. That would drive me insane.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Is it true Toronto has the best strip clubs?
I don't know what to compare it to.
I always heard that, you know, but
I mean, I've been to a few back in the day.
Or I guess there's a lot of them there is what I heard.
I don't know if there is now, to be honest. There was a time when there was a lot. I remember there was like strip clubs everywhere. Now I'm just like out of the know. I'm not in the know anymore.
Yeah, it's like me.
But I haven't seen any in ages.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm not in the club district anymore either. So that could be, you know.
Yeah, the older I get, I don't like going to clubs either.
I guess God, I had the perfect meme the other day, and it was like, I'm not the friend that you call to go clubbing. Please don't call me. I'm the friend that you call for brunch, coffee. I can't remember what else, but that was just, I sent it to all my friends. I'm like, this explains who I am.
I can finish that. So maybe not coffee, but game nights, house parties, barbecues.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it for me.
Yeah.
I don't really like going out in crowds anymore, you know.
No, I think you get over that. Yeah. Well, I mean, it took a while. I was going to say it loses its luster so quickly. It didn't lose it that quickly. It lasted a long time for me. But yeah, once you're done, you're done. Like you're just done.
Unfortunately, that's how you can meet someone. Maybe that's how you like to have a platonic meeting with someone. And
it is harder to meet people as you get older. Like I'm not gonna, and I work from home, right? So it's like, okay, I don't work out of home. The only time I ever really leave anymore is to go and kind of, you know, play caregiver to my parents. So it's like, you don't go to bars, you don't go to clubs. Like I said, the gym is uncomfortable. I don't like to, when I'm at the gym, I'm at the gym, right? Yeah, it does. It gets harder. And it's like, we had this conversation with some girlfriends of mine the other night, and we're like, is the only place to date anymore online? And what if you don't like online dating? Then what do you do? Do you just hope you meet him in the market one day? Right.
What's your thought on that? Like guys coming up to you in the grocery store. Has it ever happened?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
It's funny. I had my friend on the show the other day. I just recorded it. I haven't uploaded it yet, but it's just the most amazing story because, we always say to each other, well, he's not going to come knocking on your front door. You got to get out. You got to get out there. Her partner literally knocked on her front door one day.
Amazon?
No.
UPS?
Roommate.
Oh, cool.
He applied for an ad. They had put her and her friend that put out an ad for a roommate. They were going to rent out one of the rooms. He responded to the ad. Within 4 months, they were in a committed relationship and they're now married and living happily ever after.
Wow.
But the key So because we dived into that on the podcast, and I said, like obviously, like there was something that you were doing leading up to that made that possible, right? And she said, well, I was doing a lot of the work and journaling, and she was doing some journal practices from, I think it was Calling in the One, or one of those like spiritual like books to kind of help you attract the partner that you want. And she'd been working on that a lot, but she'd also been in a place in her life where she was having the best time. She was literally living her best life. Like everything that she thought that she would do when she had a partner, she was doing it. She was doing the activities she loved. She was getting involved. She was doing the art project she was passionate about. She was going out and spending time with the people she was excited to spend time with. She was doing all the things she would do if she was with a partner. And then he showed up. Like he literally knocked on her front door. And I think that's the key, because I think so, like, and I said to her, like, dude, like, I've been in my apartment for 3 days. Like, I've not cracked open my front door in 3 days. She was like, that's okay. What's important is how you feel about yourself at the time and your life and what you're doing and how you're spending your time. That's what's going to make you, for lack of a better, I don't want to get woo-woo, but a match for the person that you want to attract. And it's that energy that's going to kind of bring you together. So whether it's at a grocery store, whether it's a knock on your front door, whether, you're picking up prescriptions for your parents, it doesn't matter. I think when you're in that place where you're just solid in who you are and what you're doing, and you know that everything feels good, and you're spending the time the way you would want to spend it, with or without someone, that's when that person is able to come meet you someplace.
If you're like exuberating, like positivity, and you just look like you're in a good place, and you look happy, you makes yourself a lot more attractive.
Nobody wants to date a Karen, right? Nobody wants to date Karen.
If she's hot.
I feel so bad for Karens. Karens and Chad's got a bad rap.
Yeah. Wait, what's up with Chad?
You haven't heard the Chad? There's Chad.
No. Oh, there's
like
Chad.
He's like the backstabber.
Oh.
Dude version of Karen.
Chad. That's just a Chad. It's just like one of those names that just like people in Beverly Hills.
So
Chad.
For
oh
them,
my God.
But
Chad. Yeah. Karens, I do feel bad for people named Karen. Because I know some cool Karens, but then every time you say Karen, it's like,
oh, Karen.
Karen. Yeah. Wait, there's another one too.
We love you, Karens. If any Karens are listening, we love you very much.
Oh my God, I'm having a brain fart, like when you say bye to somebody. What's that called? Oh my God. It's a female's name. Help me out with this.
Female's name? What that you see when you say bye? What?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna end up having to edit this out because everybody's gonna be like, "That's a dumb motherfucker." How could? Oh my God, it'll come to me as soon as we stop recording.
Of course, it always does.
Oh, bye, Felicia.
Felicia.
That's it. Like every Felicia. If you know a Felicia, you got to say bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye to her, yeah.
There you go.
Well, you know what? It's that time. Can you believe we've been on this hour already? Yeah.
No, time actually flew. This was so much fun.
Yeah, it was cool. So, Maria, thanks for coming on the show. This has been fun.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And we'll catch back up with you hopefully down the road and see how everything is going.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You got anything you want to plug? Your podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. At thefemcast.com. Or sorry, thefemcast.com, or on Instagram at thefemcast. Absolutely come check it out. I've got some real good goodies coming out in the next couple of weeks. So excited to get started.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna check you out. I'm gonna listen to you.
Yeah, awesome.
That's gonna be great. All right.
Amazing.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao.
Okay, let me